Okay, so once again, it's not a one size fits all. Now, let me talk about how you pick which one. If you tend to have small obliques and they don't tend to grow, you can do a little bit more weighted to try to get your abs to pop. But if you are a person who tends to have your midsection grow, and when I say midsection grow, I mean talking about your obliques when you do one arm dumbbell rows or when you do bent over rows, or you have just your ancillary muscles in your midsection are just constantly firing because you like to squat really heavy, then I would really watch the weight, okay? Because then you have a tendency for your midsection, you know, in terms of your musculature to grow. So if your obliques would like to fire, then you got to really make sure that you're just using body weight, and you got to really minimize any kind of extra weight when you're doing abs. Now, if you have a naturally really thin waist and you want those abs to pop, you can go a little bit more extreme. It just really depends on how much of your abdomen tends to grow on your ancillary, you know, when you're doing one arm dumbbell rows, bent over rows, and any of those movements. Because if those ancillary muscles kick in and they tend to grow, you got to be really careful, because if you add in direct weight, then they're going to grow even more. No, I mean, like I said, you can if you have a naturally small waist, and you know you can do that stuff. But if you have a waist that tends to grow, anything you do, it becomes muscular. You got to be really, really careful, because you don't want to. And again, why do you want to be careful? Because you don't want your midsection to get wider. And you've heard me say it before, even during deadlifts and doing super heavy squats. If you tend to have a thicker midsection and you start to squat super heavy, you're going to start looking like a CrossFit guy or a CrossFit woman. And they have a very thick trunk, because the stability that needs to be able to, be reinforcing those lifts are going to constantly kick in. And that's those stabilizing muscles are right around all over your torso. No, I mean, that's just going to help you a little bit, but it's still going to fire. Now it's going to help a little bit, but it's not going to, you can't say, hey, I'm going to wear a belt and then I don't have to worry about that. I can still squat 400 and I'm not going to, my waist ain't going to grow. No, it does. It does to a degree, but that's not what's going to blow it out. That's not, like not wearing a belt or wearing a belt. Wearing a belt will help a little bit with your breathing technique, and it'll help you with, with that, but it's not going to, if you still squat 400 pounds with or without a belt and you start going deep in the hole and your ancillary muscles in your midsection tend to fire, you're going to blow out. And then you're like, hey, why men's physique guys shouldn't be doing 400 pound squats or 500 pound deadlifts? And if they do, and your erectors start to get thicker, well, guess what it does? It's going to push your obliques out. So all those ancillary muscles and your lower back is going to get really thick, and that's not really conducive of a good men's physique competing, silhouette.